FM, and we launch straight in, as I always like to do, into a good old energetic song. Bit of a skiffle thing going on here. First of all, this is Chas McDevitt and Nancy Whisky. Let's have a listen to Freight Train.
Freight train, going so fast. Freight train, going so fast. I don't know what train he's on. Won't you tell me where he's gone? Don't know where he's heading for, what he's done against the law. Got no future, got no hope, just nothing but the road. Freight train, going so fast. Freight train, going so fast. I don't know what train he's on. Won't you tell me where he's gone? He lost his reason, lost his life. He killed his friend in mortal strife. He must keep moving like the rolling skies, just a waiting till he dies. Freight train, going so fast. Freight train, going so fast. I don't know what train he's on. Won't you tell me where he's gone? When he dies, just bury him, please. Way down the end of Old Chestnut Street. Poplars at his head and feet, and tell him he's gone to sleep. Freight train, going so fast. Freight train, going so fast. I don't know what train he's on. Won't you tell me where he's gone?
Excellent start, wasn't it? Chas McDevitt, and that was Nancy Whisky on vocals. Freight Train from 1956. Skiffle was quite a phenomenon between roughly 1956 and 1960 when it had chart success and a lot of bands actually going around Britain playing in skiffle bands. Kind of, when you think of a skiffle group, you think of the double bass being a T-chest with a pole coming out of it, single string, a washboard, and a guitar. So there were quite a few bands, and if you recently saw an excellent documentary on BBC 4 on television here in Britain, you would have seen Billy Bragg talking about skiffle and, of course, Lonnie Donegan, who we are going to play quite a bit of later. But next up is another rather energetic song. This is the Vipers skiffle group, and this is from 1957.
Now me and my wife went to town. Sail lady, sail away. Well, we went to buy a $10 gown. Sail lady, sail away. Oh, don't she rock me, daddy, oh. Don't she rock me, daddy, oh. Don't she rock me, daddy, oh. Well, don't she rock me, daddy, oh. 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 Well, don't she rock me, daddy, oh. She tried the green, she tried the red. Sail away, lady, sail away. I'll have them both, that's what she said. Sail away, lady, sail away. Now don't she rock me, daddy, oh. don't you rock me, daddy-o, don't you rock me, daddy-o, don't you rock me, daddy-o, oh, don't you rock me, daddy-o, oh, don't you rock me, daddy-o, don't you rock me, daddy-o, don't you rock me, daddy-o. Well, she put one on and it looked a treat. Sail away, lady, sail away. Then found another man to meet. Sail away, lady, sail away. Don't she rock me, daddy-o, oh, don't she rock me, daddy-o, don't she rock me, daddy-o, don't she rock me, daddy-o, oh, don't she rock me, daddy-o, oh, don't you rock me, daddy-o, don't she rock me, daddy-o, don't you rock me, daddy-o. Now this the lead, my girl alone. Sail away, lady, sail away. Why she gets what she wants at home. Sail away, lady, sail away. Now don't she rock me, daddy-o, oh, don't she rock me, daddy-o, don't she rock me, daddy-o, now don't she rock me, daddy-o, oh, don't she rock me, daddy-o, oh, don't she rock me, daddy-o, don't she rock me, daddy-o, now don't she rock me, daddy-o. I'm going upstairs to pack my trunk. Sail away, lady, sail away. Don't find a bar and get me drunk. Sail away, lady, sail away. Oh, don't she rock me, daddy-o, oh, don't she rock me, daddy-o, don't she rock me, daddy-o, yeah, don't she rock me, daddy-o, oh, don't she rock me, daddy-o, oh, don't she rock me, daddy-o, don't she rock me, daddy-o, oh, don't she rock me, daddy-o.
Hey, another good one there. Don't You Rock Me, Daddy-O from the Vipers Skiffle group. We heard, first of all, Freight Train there, which was a song written in between 1906 and 1912 in the US. Skiffle was hugely influenced by the US, so blues, folk, and they took all these and they made them, well, I suppose peculiarly British. Blues as well was quite a thing. Next up, probably the most famous skiffle person was Lonnie Donegan, of course. This was a number one hit in 1957, and this is probably the most famous skiffle song, Cumberland Gap. But we're going to be playing quite a bit of Lonnie Donegan later on, just to show what a variety of songs he would do. Very impressed with Lonnie. I should say Chas McDevitt, Nancy Whisky and Lonnie Donegan were all born in Glasgow, so quite a Scottish connection.
Well, Cumberland Gap, 15 miles on the Cumberland Gap, Cumberland Gap, 15 miles on the Cumberland Gap. Well, the Cumberland Gap ain't nowhere 15 miles from Middlesbrough. Cumberland Gap ain't nowhere 15 miles from Middlesbrough. Cumberland Gap, 15 miles on the Cumberland Gap, Cumberland Gap, 15 miles on the Cumberland Gap. Well, I've got a gal 6 feet tall, sleeps in the kitchen with her feet in the hall. Cumberland Gap, 15 miles on the Cumberland Gap, Cumberland Gap, 15 miles on the Cumberland Gap. Well, 2 old ladies sitting in the sand, each one wishing that the other was a man. Cumberland Gap, 15 miles on the Cumberland Gap, Cumberland Gap, 15 miles on the Cumberland Gap. Cumberland Gap, 15 miles on the Cumberland Gap, Cumberland Gap, 15 miles on the Cumberland Gap. Oh, the dollar is the dollar, the dime is the dime, and I love you, baby, most all the time. Cumberland Gap, 15 miles on the Cumberland Gap, Cumberland Gap, 15 miles on the Cumberland Gap. Well, Cumberland Gap, 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 Cumberland Gap. 15 miles on the Cumberland Gap.
Whoa! Is that full of energy or is that full of energy? Lonnie Donegan and Cumberland Gap. Now, in Britain, it's said that skiffle came out of trad jazz, and in fact, Lonnie Donegan played in the Chris Barber traditional trad jazz band. And on some Lonnie Donegan records, you will actually see Chris Barber on harmonica. To explain a little bit more about Skiffle, we have this rather bizarre comedy record here called, now, what is it? What is a Skiffler? By Morris and Mitch. I could find very little out about Morris and Mitch, apart from they would do spoof records. But this will tell us a little bit, in a really funny and hilarious way, what Skiffle was. Well, it might do.
Between the innocence of jazz and the dignity of symphony, we find a delightful thing called skiffle.
Hey, don't you rock me, Daddy-o. Hey, don't you rock me, Daddy-o.
Wait a minute. You give your skiffle demonstration later. I have to tell them about it first, you see.
That's all very well, but I'd like to point out that my chaps and I have had to leave the bank and simply tear down here in our lunch hour to make this record with you. And I've got some very important accounts to pay.
I know you're working on the difficulties, but just a little later, huh?
Well, do hurry.
Skiffle has come in assorted weights, sizes, and colors. But all skifflers have the same creed: to enjoy every second of every minute of every hour of every session, and to protest with 2 chords, their only weapon, when their last minute comes and the coffee bar keeper packs them off for the night.
Hey, don't you rock me, Daddy-o.
No, wait a minute. There's still a bit more time to go. It's a bit more of the speech part.
Oh, I say, really, this is a bit much, you know. We've taxied our tea-chest base all the way down here, and you, all you can do is blather.
I know, I have to explain.
You're a drag, man.
A skiffler is truth with dirt on his jeans, wisdom with a growl on his voice, beauty with cake in his beard, and the hope of the future dragging a guitar through the dust of Soho. He likes duffel coats, spaghetti, folk music, basketball boots, riverboat shuffles, gaily painted taxicabs, bobcord, and bechet. He's not much for progressive jazz, classical painting, money, Sunday school, music lessons, neckties, squares, barbers, or people without beards.
Good gracious, man, you are rather hogging it a bit, you know. I mean, as leader of the Threadneedle Street Thumpers, I'm just not used to this kind of treatment. Look, we're nearly at the end of the record. It's nearly all gone. It just isn't lead belly.
A skiffler is a magical creature. You can lock him out of your record collection, but you can't lock him out of the hit parade. May as well give up. He's a bearded, chick-chasing bundle of noise. But when you finish your work at night with only the shattered pieces of your hopes and dreams, he can mend them, all like you, with those 2 magic words.
Hi, Dad.
Okay, you can go ahead now.
You mean we can play?
Yeah.
Okay, fellas, get ready. Don't you rock me, Dad.
Well, actually, that wasn't quite as bad as I was expecting, and actually there are elements there that really do quite succinctly explain Skiffle, including the reference to Leadbelly there, American blues singer who influenced certainly Lonnie Donegan, and Lonnie Donegan would go to the American Library in London and look out Leadbelly songs. Now, the thing about we're going to have 3 from Lonnie Donegan, he wasn't just about skiffle, he was interested in blues, and some of these records go into R&B, rock, and certainly into blues. Hugely influential to upcoming artists at the time. The Beatles, well, at least 2 of the Beatles went to see Lonnie Donegan in Liverpool in probably 1959 time, 1960, and he influenced a lot of artists that came along in the 60s. Anyway, I think we've got this, When the Sun Goes Down here, a nice slow one. That was the thing about Lonnie. He would mix it up a bit. Oh, now, just a minute. I think we're having a bit of a skip here, and we don't want to skip, do we? So let's try and get that to work properly. Let's try again.
lonesome, ain't lonesome when your mama ain't in town, when the sun goes down. Well, goodbye, old sweethearts and pals. Lord, I'm going away, or maybe back to see you again. Gal, some old rainy day. In the evening, ooh, mama, when the sun goes down, when the sun goes down.
Well, I forgot exactly how magnificent that was. When the Sun Goes Down. This is Thelma FM, and you are listening to Forgotten Songs from the Broom Cupboard. We're having a bit of a Skiffle special, although, you know, really, that's not Skiffle. That is blues, isn't it, really? That's Chris Barber on harmonica. And it was the Lonnie Donegan Skiffle group. Fantastic. Absolutely love it. We've got another one, and this again, he would mix it up, Lonnie Donegan. I think this is more like rock and roll. This is Betty.
Yay, 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 Betty told Dupree she wanted a diamond ring. Yeah. Betty told Dupree she wanted a diamond ring. But I know Dupree told Betty, I'll give you most anything. Yeah. He said, lay down, little Betty, see what tomorrow brings. Yeah, in the morning, said, lay down, little Betty, see what tomorrow brings. Oh, well, it may bring you sunshine and it may bring you that diamond ring. Yeah, and Dupree took his big old pistol, went on down to the jeweler's store. Yeah, Dupree took his pistol, went on down to the jeweler's store. And he killed a big policeman, wounded 4 or 5 more. Oh, he said arrested for Dupree and he laid him in that old Atlanta jail. Yeah, he said arrested Dupree and he laid him in that old Atlanta jail. He said, lay down, little Dupree, ain't nobody gonna go your bail. Hey, sail on, sail on, sail on, sail on, sail on,
Okay, we're having a bit of a Lonnie Donegan loving, but hey, these, by the way, are all Nixer vinyl 78 records. We finished with this one. This is a pop song, of course, but Lonnie Donegan gives it its own. I think this is much better than the Everly Brothers version, controversially. Love is Strange.
Love is strange, yeah, yeah. Many people take it for a game. People don't understand, no, they think loving is beautiful and grand. Is sweeter than a kiss. Yea, if you leave me, your kisses I'll miss. Oh, baby, oh, my baby, oh, my baby, you're Love is strange, yeah. Many people take it for a game, baby. Oh, my baby. Oh, my baby. You're the one.
I wanted to play Ham and Eggs as well, but I might play that later or maybe on the next show. That was Lonnie Donegan with Everly Brothers, Love is Strange, and I think a vastly superior version. You're listening to Thelma FM. We are the broadcasting arm of the Living Memory Association, a oral history reminiscence project based here in Edinburgh, and we have a premises at Ocean Terminal Shopping Centre where we have hands-on museum. You're welcome to come and visit. We are open 10:30 till 4 weekdays and 11 a.m. till 4 at weekends. And it really is a hands-on museum. You can pick stuff up, look at it, as long as you don't run away with it. Children are definitely welcome and encouraged to do the very same thing. Yeah, look at stuff. Okay, we better move on. That's enough of Lonnie loving here. We're going to move on to a big band, and it is Les Brown Orchestra featuring Doris Day. Now, Les Brown brought Doris Day to the fore with Sentimental Journey, but this is not that. It is the rather strangely entitled He's Home for a Little While. Now, hopefully, next up is Luella Robertson from 1951. Now, I think this is going to be a little better. If it is, we might even play the other side a bit later. But let's have a listen to her. This is good old... I like this.
Chickens are growing on Chickasaw Mountain. So many pretty boys that I can't count 'em. My true love, he lives in Breton, hating da-diddle-da-day. He won't come and I won't fetch him, hating da-diddle-da-day. I got a beau on Chickasaw Mountain. Love is a blue-eyed dandy. A kiss from him is sweeter than candy. My true love lives in the holler, hating da-diddle-da-day. He won't come and I won't follow, hating da-diddle-da-day. I got a beau on Chickasaw Mountain. Love is so good looking. Likes pretty gals and mountain cooking. My true love is a blue-eyed daisy, hating da-diddle-da-day. If he don't marry me, I'll go crazy, hating da-diddle-da-day. I got a beau on Chickasaw Mountain. Chickens are growing on Chickasaw Mountain. So many pretty boys that I can't count 'em. My true love, he lives in Breton, hating da-diddle-da-day. He won't come, so I'll go fetch him, hating da-diddle-da-day. I got a beau on Chickasaw Mountain. Hating da-diddle-da-day.
Hey, Chickasaw Mountain from Luella Robertson from 1951. I like that. It's a real hoedown kind of music, isn't it? Well, we're moving back to big bands now, and I think I might flip that side and listen to the other side of that. But for now, we've got Hal McIntyre, who I play, well, about 2 or 3 records of Hal McIntyre. This was recorded on the 22nd of July, 1942, and it is the rather plaintively entitled, Why Don't You Fall in Love With Me?
as you're not in love with anyone else, why don't you fall in love with me? You're driving me crazy, baby, trying to guess. Will you tell me no or will you tell me yes? You gotta go overboard for someone someday. Believe it or not, it's bound to be. As long as you're not in love with anyone else, why don't you fall in love with me? You gotta go overboard for someone someday. Believe it or not, it's bound to be. As long as you're not in love with anyone else, why don't you fall in love with me?
I do like Hal McIntyre's sound. Sadly, I seem to remember he died quite young. And I don't think, like the vocals on that as well, I don't think that's credited on the label. Let's have a look. Oh, it is. Vocal refrain by Jerry Stewart. And this is the same with the Doris Day record. Vocals weren't given the same prominence as they are now. So the music would go on for quite some time before you got any vocals. Change of pace once again. This, and I've played these chaps before. This is the McCravey brothers with Sister Lucy. Now, they played, I think the best way to categorise it is Ulster Scots gospel music, and it was in South Carolina. They only recorded from 1925 to 1935. And I'm indebted here to a website, the Thompson Brothers, who play similar music. They've got a blog, so I've got the information from there. They were from Lawrence in South Carolina. And in a 1933 book of Fireside Song, they are quoted as saying, they offer sentimental modern spirituals and semi-religious songs. No low-down hot tunes or, well, I think low-down or down kind of tunes. I can't read my own writing. It's terrible, isn't it? Anyway, yes, it was quite... I like it. It's very, very pared down again. It's just the two of them, banjo, fiddle, that sort of thing. But we've got a few of these for some reason.
Sister Lucy, she had a golden chain, golden chain. Sister Lucy, she had a golden chain. Hallelujah, hallelujah. She had a golden chain, the links of which were all the same. No hiding place down there. No hiding place down there. Hallelujah. No hiding place down there. I went to the rock to hide my face, and the rock cried out, no hiding place. No hiding place down there. Of all the religions I profess, of all the religions I profess, hallelujah, hallelujah. Of all the religions I profess, the one I like is a Methodist. No hiding place down there. No hiding place down there, hallelujah. No hiding place down there. I went to the rock to hide my face, and the rock cried out, no hiding place down there. went to the rock to hide my face, the rock cried out, no hiding place, no hiding place down there. No hiding place down there, hallelujah, no hiding place down there. I went to the rock to hide my face, the rock cried out, no hiding place down there. No hiding place down there.
Marvellous. There was even a bit of Jaws harp in there, wasn't it? I don't think I've ever played a record with that in it. Fantastic. What I was trying to read, the quote there, was actually no hot tunes or low down stuff. That's about to change as we slowly go into slightly down and dirty, but we're going to get there very slowly. This is Red McKenzie with 1 hour. I had a bit of problems putting this on Facebook earlier because apparently in some countries the copyright is allegedly owned by Sony, which I find very odd because it's a Red McKenzie and Gene Krupa composition. So interesting. originally recorded in 1929. That was Red McKenzie and the Mound City Blues Blowers. Now, Red McKenzie at one time sang with the Paul Whiteman Band, and you can actually hear on there some very, very bizarre vocals. But also, I mean, just imagine this as a lineup here. In that band was Glenn Miller, Pee Wee Russell, Coleman Hawkins, and I do believe Gene Krupa. What an amazing lineup that is. Sadly, again, Red McKenzie died quite young. But up next, we are really getting a bit down and dirty now, because of course it's Fats Waller, and it is my very good friend, the Milkman. I wonder what that's about.
My very good friend, the milkman, said that I've been losing too much sleep. He doesn't like the hours I keep. He suggests that you should marry me. Alternative, my very good friend, the mailman, said that it would make his burden less if we both had the same address. And he suggests that you should marry me. Then there's a very friendly fellow who prints all the latest real estate news. And every day he sends me blueprints of cottages with country views. My very good friend and neighbor said they've been watching little things I do, and they believe that I love you. So I suggest that you should marry me.
You see, I was bad-mouthing Fats Waller there, wasn't I? Because actually it's all about getting married, which is a bit... It's not the normal Fats Waller. I always have deep suspicions of some of his songs. This is definitely a little bit more double entendre. This is Tiny Bradshaw, and up first we have Walking the Chalk Line. Hopefully I can get both of these tracks in too.
But baby, call me in.
drew a line on the floor, said the things you used to do, you ain't gonna do them no more. So I'm walking the chalk line, trying with all my might. I'm walking the chalk line, trying with all my might. 'Cause I love my baby darling, trying to do things right. She says to walk, walk, walk that chalk line, 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 walk that chalk line. Got to treat my baby right. Said I had to do right, got to walk the chalk line day and night. And I'm walking the chalk line, walking both day and night. And I'm walking the chalk line, trying to treat my baby right. Well, I used to go out about every night, but now I stay at home 'cause it just ain't right. And I'm walking the chalk line, walking the chalk line, walking the chalk line, trying to treat my baby right. Walk that chalk line, walk, walk, walk that chalk line, walk, walk, walk that chalk line, walk, walk, walk that chalk line, walk that chalk line. Got to treat my baby right.
1951, Tiny Bradshaw, very much a precursor to rock and roll, I think. There, good old R&B. We're going to definitely play the other side of Bradshaw's Boogie. If your loved one draws a chalk line down the floor, you have my sympathies. Next up are two legends together on the same record. Rosemary Clooney and Marlene Dietrich. Yes, this is a great one. Too Old to Cut the Mustard. That's terrible, isn't it? Let's have a listen anyway.
Cut the mustard anymore. He's getting too old, too old. He's too old to cut the mustard anymore. Once I kissed the millionaire, ran my finger through his hair. The whole thing turned out pretty grim, 'cause none of his hair belonged to him. Too old, too old, he's too old to cut the mustard anymore. He's getting too old, he's too old to cut the mustard anymore. She answered no with a big sedan, swore he was an army man, and he got dressed up fit to kill in the uniform he wore at the Bunker Hill. He's too old to cut the mustard anymore. He's getting too old, he's too old to cut the mustard anymore. I entertained the an actor I know. The moon was high and the lights were low. He said I'd like to play the scene, but it's time to drink my Ovaltine. Too old, he's too old to cut the mustard anymore. He's getting too old, he's too old to cut the mustard anymore. Before you do submit, they can show his birth certificate. Too old, he's too old to cut the mustard anymore. He's getting too old, he's too old to cut the mustard anymore.
It's Marlene Dietrich's ability to eke out every innuendo from every phrase and every word, isn't it? It's marvellous stuff. Rosemary Clooney and Marlene Dietrich on one record. We will play the other side of that at some point. You are listening to the Thelma FM. This is the broadcasting arm of the Living Memory Association. You have been listening to Miles on Forgotten Songs from the Broom Cupboard, our usual trawl through songs and artists that aren't played quite so much or have been totally forgotten. And I would say Tiny Bradshaw is somebody who should definitely be played a lot more. This is Bradshaw's Boogie. If you want to listen to us again, we repeat it on Saturday and Sunday at 4 p.m. We're on Alexa too. I will soon be putting up, and in fact they are up already, on Deezer, on Apple Music and on Spotify. Search up Forgotten Songs. I've got 5 previous shows up there to listen to at your leisure. Thank you for listening to this. Thank you for listening to Tiny Bradshaw, and probably quite naughty as well, Bradshaw's Boogie, I'm sure, I hope.
Well, I got a gal, she's mighty sweet. Won't make no love till she hears that beat of the Bradshaw Boogie. Yes, the Bradshaw Boogie. She does the boogie-woogie like nobody else can do. She's got bunions on her feet, but that don't mean a thing when she hears that beat of the Bradshaw Boogie. Yes, the Bradshaw Boogie. She does the boogie-woogie like nobody else can do. Blow! She bounces up and down like a water pump to the Bradshaw Boogie. Yes, the Bradshaw Boogie. She does the boogie-woogie like nobody else can do. Don't say a thing till that band starts right out to swing to the Bradshaw Boogie. Yes, the Bradshaw Boogie. She does the boogie-woogie like no other chick can do. Now she whirls all around, jumps way back, takes 3 steps, does the Applejack to the Bradshaw Boogie. She loves Bradshaw's Boogie. Sits back, boys, and does the boogie right on down.
Is here, so blow your job, throw your job away. Now's the time to trust to your wanderlust. In the city's dust you wait.
must you wait? Just you wait. In a mountain greenery where God paints the scenery, just two crazy people together. While you love your lover, let blue skies be your coverlet. When it rains, we'll laugh at the weather. And if you're good, I'll search for wood so you can cook while I stand looking. Beans could get no keener reception in a beanery. Bless our mountain greenery home. Simple cooking means more than French cuisines. I've a banquet planned which is sandwiches and beans. Coffee's just as grand with a little sand. Eat and you'll grow fatter, boy, smatter, boy. Attaboy.